My wife never listens to me. Whatever I can do, she never listens to me. The other side, the wife is saying the same, but my husband never gives attention to whatever I'm saying. Have you ever heard these sentences between the couple? Of course, two married people are not perfect ones. And of course, even I am not perfect. Neither you're not perfect. So all we imperfect. But the bottom line here is about making a compromise. How to compromise? To compromise, it means it's the fact that you're going to accept that your opinion will be discussed, put aside, and take someone else's opinion. That is good, and it's good. So notice that you and your spouse have different preferences on something, and that's true because you got two different people having two different brains. You don't have the same brain, no, don't you? Of course. So we need to go through 3 points that are going to help, and you're going to think about where you can compromise whenever possible. Notice, both of you could compromise. That's true. That's the first. Both of you could compromise. Second, you could passively surrender to your spouse's wishes. That's point number second. And then third is that you could stubbornly insist until you get your way. Point number 3. Among the 3, what should you do? During this video, we're going to go through, and then we're going to understand what we should be doing in order to enjoy peace within our marriage cycle, and then be living so far in the sense that we'll be respecting different terms about marriage, and then our children or our spouse will also be happy. That happiness will last. So what we should do, we have 7 points. Notice I say 7 points that we're going to go through, and these 7 points are going to allow us to understand. The first one is compromise requires self-sacrifice. Answer the question, since when have you ever compromised with your wife? You to say the sacrifice you've made for your wife or your husband. Of course, no one enjoys living with a spouse who believes it's either my way or the highway. It is far better when both partners have self-sacrificing disposition. There are times when we could yield to our spouse, and that's going to make him happy. But at times, it could seem so hard because maybe the husband or wife cannot do the same to you. Of course, it hurts. So in this way, that what we're going to say that marriage should be about give and take, not just take. When you're learning to make self-sacrificing is quite well and it's good. Of course, this is going really to help you to thrive in your relationship with your husband or your wife. But don't only be the only one. Do not say that I should always, or I am always the only one to express self-sacrificing spirit. Rather, my husband or my wife doesn't. Please, both of you should be working alone and know how to be making self-sacrificing spirit. Point number 2, to allow us to move so far in our love, in affection, and you too, you need to remember that Compromise requires an open mind. Do you have an open mind? Or are you open-minded? Yeah, you don't have to agree with everything your spouse says or believes, of course not, but you have to be honest and open to considering his or her position. That's what one counselor said by the name of Gutman. If you find yourself sitting with your arms folded and shaking your heads, no, or just thinking it, when your spouse is trying to talk out a problem with you, notice that your discussion will never get away. We never get anywhere. Don't just fold your arms and then be shaking your head or nodding like. Please. Express empathy and have an open mind. That's gonna hurt so that your conversation may get somewhere. Point number 2. Point number 3 is compromise requires something else. Teamwork. You've got married, it's been maybe 3, 4 years, some months, 10, 20. Are you still team working? Of course, we know that life is hard nowadays. And it's not easy really to be working as a team. In the sense that really you can be just alone at home because a wife got a job, a husband got a job too, and you're struggling as long as possible in order that you may take care of your family. Of course, paying bills and so on, of course we understand it's not easy. But please try to find time possible so as to team working. Notice that before marriage, you might have been accustomed to making unilateral decisions. We talk about unilateral decisions. Now, things have changed in a way that both you and your spouse must put your marriage above your personal preferences. It should never be I, but we. This is the pronoun you should be using. No more I think, no. Honey, we can think about this. I'm going to share my point of view to you, and we're going to see if it's going to be possible to find a solution. The tone of voice doesn't mean that only your wife should have that tone of voice, but even you, the husband. And of course, that's will truly help. Notice that rather than think of that as drawback, a solution that is better than what each one could come up with alone, it's practical and better. Because you will be enjoying the time that really you are finding a solution a good way. In which way? You're going to find the advantage of it. So please, don't think of that as a drawback. But there is an advantage. What is it? Combine your ideas. When the two of you have so combined, that can lead to a solution. And that solution is going to be so better than when you can try even to work alone. But when that come up with both of you, really, you're going to find satisfaction in your marriage. Point number 4. Be willing to adjust your view. Of course, each one of you should be loving his mate as himself, especially the husband, and the wife should have a deep respect for her husband. That's true, and of course that's going to be so right, because when love and respect flow freely, both spouses are willing to consider the other's viewpoint and even be swayed. and that's right. The other one is the points that come to the brainstorm. Point number 5, brainstorm. It means that some issues, don't forget, may be relatively easy to settle. With more complex issues, however, what you're going to do is that a husband and wife can strengthen the bond by brainstorming a solutions that perhaps neither of them would have come up with alone. That's going to help. Then please how to brainstorm along. That will help. Another point is that 6th point is to start right. What does it mean to start right? Notice the pitch of voice or the tone of the voice of your discussions will reveal a lot. It means that the beginning of your discussion by the tone of voice that you're going to express, going to define if you're going to get anywhere or somewhere, or if you're going to find a solution or yes or not. Notice that if you start with harsh words, the chances of reaching a peaceful compromise are slim. So please, clothe yourself with compassion, humility, mindness, patience, and please have kindness. That will help you to know how to talk over the matter with your mate. Notice that those qualities will really sustain your love and make your affection thrive, and respect will be in your marriage cycle and will truly make you strong and deeply loved each other. The 7th is the search for common ground. It's where somehow marriage get worse. If you attempt at compromise only escalate in new heating argument, it may be that you and your spouse are focusing too much on where your views differ. So please, if you want to pinpoint where you could agree, see what you're going to do. Try out this. You're going to try that each of you make a 2-column list. You have it like 2-column list that you could make. And what does it mean that you're making a 2-column list? You're going to write down with aspect of the issue you feel most strongly about. And then in the second column, what you're going to do, list the aspect on which you feel that you could compromise. Then after this, combine both along and then discuss your list together. You might find that the aspect that you both feel strongest about are not really how that incompatible. If so, compromise should not be too difficult. Even if they are incompatible, notice that having all aspects of the matter on paper will help you and your spouse to see the issue more clearly. Thank you very much. Don't forget to subscribe and to recommend this video to someone else. We do love you. See you next time. Bye.